Hi, everybody. My name is John Samankowitz. I'm with Beer Law Center. I've got just a couple of seconds today to tell you a little bit about us. We're one of the sponsors and speakers here at the virtual conference. We're a small law firm based in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we have devoted our practice to alcohol producers and sellers, breweries, wineries, meaderies, cideries, kombucha, you name it, we've worked on it before. If you have a question, give us a call. We don't charge for an initial consult, and if we don't have the answer, we'll help you find somebody who does. You can reach us at 919-335-5291. It's a telephone number. If you don't like that, just drop me an email at john@beerlawcenter.com, john@beerlawcenter.com, or find us on social media at Beer Law Center. We'd love to hear from you and we'll help you grow your business. Have a great day.
Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Nystrom. I love craft beer and I love the people who bring it to us. With that in mind, I've been helping set up some opportunities for the industry that fill some gaps. Part of that is talking to exactly the right people. And with that, I'd like to introduce Greg Fleehart.
Hey, everybody. My name is Greg Fleehart. I'm a craft beer career person. I've been brewing since about 15 years ago, and I also have sold malt to breweries. I've consulted on breweries, both startup and existing, and ran a brand for a while, developed brands. So I've done a lot in the craft beer industry and seen a lot of things and met a lot of people as well. And the other part of this panel is my favorite person, who happens to also be my wife, Madeline McMahon.
Hi, I'm Madeline McMahon. I am a fractional marketing strategist for breweries. I'm also involved with multiple Pink Boots chapters. So shout out to my pals in Virginia that are watching today. Today we are presenting benefits for brewers, delighting staff, and increasing profits with non-traditional strategies. Want to take the time to thank craft beer professionals and our host, Andrew. With that, Jonathan, can you take us through this craft beer professional survey example and why we picked compensation packages to get us started with our presentation today?
Absolutely. I think all of us have had a lot of anecdotal conversations with folks in the trade and heard individual stories of how they think about their job and their compensation. Andrew and the team at Craft Beer Professionals have done something extraordinary and conducted a systematic survey that actually gives us real data to work with. And what you see in front of you is from the most recently released data. And I want to draw your attention to a couple of things on here. As you can see, obviously, wages and salary are of utmost importance, but fourth in line is health insurance. And you can see that the number of breweries offering health insurance has gone up by 3% from 2022 to 2023, but still it's way less than half. And even more notable, I think anybody who's been in the industry has seen mental health as a challenge and a priority that is an ongoing issue to deal with. All the way down there at the bottom, you see that less than 10% of breweries are offering any sort of mental health benefits right now.
Now, I know, Jonathan, you were instrumental in setting up health benefits and benefits for brewers that we're presenting today. Can you talk a little bit more about your understanding and why happiness is such a significant factor in the overall satisfaction for the team?
Absolutely. I think a lot of the other panelists in this virtual conference have talked about the importance of having a happy staff and the sort of trite observation that happy people also make better employees and provide a better experience for your customers. What the data in front of us, again, from the Craft Beer Professional Survey shows is that at present, when you look at the factors that make your staff happy, benefits are a little farther down the list after quite a few other factors. However, when they're asked to look ahead to their future happiness, increasing benefits is the third in line, and it's not far behind pay raises and growth opportunities. And I think that's where there's a real opportunity maybe to think about the problem in a way that we haven't thought about it before and bring some new ideas to the table. Here are just some quick facts that you're probably familiar with, but of the thousands and thousands of craft breweries out there, the overwhelming majority have less than 50 employees and therefore are exempt from the ACA requirements to offer health insurance. However, in that 39% who offer at least some insurance, what we see again and again is that not all staff qualify. Not all staff are full-time employees. There's a lot of part-time, contract, some folks that come in a couple times a month, a lot of different arrangements that come up. And then of the staff who are offered a chance to participate in health insurance plans, a lot of them decline, and they decline for reasons that are, I think, pretty obvious. But when they need those benefits and are prioritizing them, that the fact that they're declining them isn't really a function of not caring about them. It's just pure and simple economics. And I think pure and simple economics are also a factor for breweries. It is not inexpensive to purchase health insurance for the entire staff, and to purchase insurance that is good enough to make a difference can be the difference between being profitable or not. So it's not a decision you can make lightly.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Jonathan. And to your point, I think that we're certainly seeing that brewery owners are interested in doing the best for their staff, that they want to have those options available. Greg, talk a little bit about why you've seen staff leaving for other opportunities outside of the industry.
I'm sorry, my internet's a little spotty. Can you repeat that?
I was hoping that you could kick off outlining reasons that staff is now looking for other opportunities outside of the industry.
Yeah, so I've been in the industry since it was becoming really cool, and then as it's matured to where it is now, and there was this enthusiasm for craft beer that was just substantial, and it was huge, and so we all wanted to be a part of it, and we would take no insurance, we would take low pay. Because we wanted to get our foot in the door. Now, my generation of brewer and older generations, is even the generation, pseudo generation down below me, we're kind of aging out of this industry in terms of what it can offer us for compensation and for benefits. So, so that's kind of the general scope, I think, of as we kind of move into this new mature market with craft beer, like, it's going to be a very different game hiring and retaining talent than it was when I started, and even in the past 5-10 years since COVID. So what I've found too in my experience is most individuals that are working at a brewery, they want a few things to go really well. Obviously, they want a great working environment, they want a good vibe with the team, but they want to grow, they want to learn. That people get into this because it's a passion. And there's so much to learn in craft beer. People want to keep moving up. So if you give them a path towards development, either that's, having a career path when they first get hired, these are the career path options through our business. That could be really powerful to empower getting people on the path to grow. And also offering on really comprehensive on-site training, as well as, continuing education, all that sort of stuff is really important. That should help retain people, especially in this day and age. And people leave managers. They leave a bad managerial situation. Maybe they don't jive well with them. Maybe the management style is completely wrong for what they need. Or managers aren't getting the care that they deserve. They're not getting the benefits that they need to be healthy mentally and physically. So, that you have a substandard manager and then you're losing other, great employees because maybe that manager doesn't have access to, mental health days or PTO that's appropriate, or, telehealth to get mental health counseling when they just have a real rough day. So, and that kind of brings us to the lack of benefits, right? Like most people that I've worked with in the past, really great brewers have, left the industry because they had health issues that they needed to have insurance for. And that just wasn't an option working hourly in a brewery. So it happens all the time, and it happens way more often than you think. And it's mostly people that have been in the industry for a couple of years that actually have some experience that could be really beneficial for the longevity of your business, that are now saying, I can't survive in this environment. I've got to go do something I hate just to get the benefits so I live a more comfortable life.
So taking that information, taking that ideas and seeing maybe some opportunity in how we could convert that knowledge into better employment for these brewery staffs. Let's take the time, Jonathan, to highlight how you could convert any of that into profits for the brewery owner.
Absolutely. I think, it's been hammered in panel after panel that delighted employees make a better business. I think we all agree with that the staff is the key to this business. I think what's a lot less obvious is the cost of turnover. An estimate from Air Studios says that the cost to replace a minimum wage employee is 30 to 50% of their annual earnings. If you think about what that means in a brewery, if you have if you have just one person a month being replaced, but that's taking the cost when you add up retraining and finding them and dealing with compliance and payroll and all that, you're looking at thousands of dollars a month in hidden costs going out the door. If you could turn that around, that's thousands of dollars a month going into your bottom line. The way that we get there with discount medical plans, which we're going to talk more about over the course of this conversation, is that the benefits involved don't involve pooled risk. And so that means you're not subsidizing the more expensive folks with the less expensive folks and so on. Having telehealth appointments available means that your staff can see a doctor for over 92% of reasons people go to urgent care or the emergency room. They could see the doctor through a telemedicine appointment, either stepping in the back if they're at work or doing that from home before or after work, especially if they're on a 24-hour plan. And finally, one of the pressures that Greg alluded to is that when employees start to have their own healthcare costs adding up, they tend to be under pressure, and in turn that gets passed upwards to you in the form of requests for raises or requests to accommodate them so they can work a second job. And being able to have those employees focused on their job and to have them recognize that you are helping them get a benefit that they really want, that can bring profit in a non-obvious way, but a very impactful way to your bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll tell you that telehealth one really stands out to me as well, because it's not just the doctor's appointment. It's traveling to it. It's waiting in the doctor's office. It's then waiting for the answers and the results, when it would be really great to just streamline that appointment and maybe enjoy the rest of my day instead. So that's a really great point. Thank you for sharing all of those. So Greg, taking it back to your experience then, what are some ways that you've seen that brewery owners can retain top talent in today's world?
Yeah, I think there's a ton of options out there, and I think it's just about being creative, right? So if you are concerned about your operational costs when you're starting a new business, that's very valid, and most employees will understand that. I think financial transparency is actually a really good way to start those relationships with your employees, especially in a new business, and say, hey, this is our budget. This is what we're working with. This is what we need to make in order to actually break even. That can be really impactful for people, especially in the production side. Say, okay, well, we really need to think about our costs. We need to think about our efficiencies, and then that can also, if you also gamify it or incentivize those efficiencies and hitting those budget goals. They know why we need to hit those budget goals, and also they could get a share of that. So I think budget-based bonus, performance-based bonuses, either for the company's performance or for the individual's performance. Those are really beneficial because you earn them, and then your company has the money to pay them because they have put that work in. And then you also think about like profit sharing can be really powerful. So if the business does well, if you're a senior leader and the business does well, you get a share of that profit. Now, I will say I've had that happen. I've had that before, and it's been really great. The only thing I would, as a business owner, I would make sure that you notate that it's either before reinvestment of profit or it's after reinvestment of profit. So that if you go and you buy a bunch of fermenters and all your profit got wiped out for the year, and then your senior talent says, hey, we performed really well, where's my bonus? They say, oh, we bought a bunch of tanks. Well, that wasn't that senior manager's decision, so they just kind of got snuffed out of it, So keep that in mind if you have a program like that. I think that's important to have that communication. Also, you go into alternate PTO, so it can be pet days, it can be mental health days, floating personal holidays. It costs you production, it costs you efficiencies perhaps, but it doesn't necessarily cost you out of pocket to give someone a little bit extra time off, or say, hey, twice a year you need to sign up for a course and go take it, and you get the day to do that. We'll pay you for the day. And we'll pay for the course, and you'll learn a little something. So maybe it's a craft beer professionals conference, maybe it's a Master Brewers Association, whatever you think could really benefit that individual. And then professional development kind of goes right into that. So having a budget for each individual, depending on their role, that is for personal development. So they need time for that, and they need money for that, and resources to where they should go. So craft beer professionals obviously has huge resources available. Master Brewers Association has resources available, Craft Brewers Association, your local guilds. And it could be something that maybe is slightly outside of beer production. It could be, they want to do a class on kombucha making, and that could inform maybe some of the sour beers that they're producing. So any learning, I think, is good, and it helps them feel like they're continuing to grow inside your company. And then if you are concerned about revenue, if you're concerned about how much it costs to have this talent, and you're on a shoestring budget, and you just literally can't afford actual true health insurance, which is very common in this industry. These margins are very tight. People aren't cheap. And we're talking about a high margin product, but the margin is, we get 95% profit margin off a pint of beer. That's fantastic, but you're still only getting $4.50 into the bank, right, per transaction. So your total ticket price per customer is lower than a lot of other retail operations. So your margins overall are going to be pretty thin. And if you can't offer health insurance, then I think a great substitute for that, or not a substitute, but a backup, would be a non-insurance health benefit. So that's what we call a DMPO, which is I'll let Jonathan get that one, but it's a complicated one. But basically, it's not health insurance, but it offers a ton of benefits that basically all the ones you use anyway with health insurance, like telehealth, telemedicine, and that can be extremely cheap. And we'll show you how cheap it can be in a little bit here, and really beneficial to have people have that resource. It gives them a sense of, okay, I'm going to be all right if I really need something at the middle of the night. My kid's got a cold. I can, get on the phone and do a telehealth, and then I can get, a prescription that I need the next day. So it really is something that could help you hire and be retained and reward. So if you have a bunch of staff right now that's operating on no health insurance and you can't afford that, and that's fair, and you want to do something that is similar to that and show that you care about your staff and their well-being, DMPOs, such as benefits for brewers, can be a huge win.
Yeah, so let me talk about that real quick. A DMPO is a discount medical plan, or a discount medical plan organization, and the idea of discount medical plans has been around for a long time. As you all know, the health insurance industry in the United States has undergone significant change in fits and starts over the past 20 or 30 years, particularly after the passage of the Affordable Care Act, or otherwise known as Obamacare. The number of people covered did go up significantly, but also the basis for that coverage continued to shift and evolve. And what we're left with today is an environment where 39 million Americans go to work every day and do not have access to any health benefits whatsoever. And discount medical plan organizations can step in and fill some of that gap. The idea behind Health Step was to create a step towards better health options, and it's an exciting time in this space. There's a lot of options. So, when we talk about what's included in a discount medical plan, it's basically the benefits you can get without sharing risk. And so it's not covering severe, it's not covering life-threatening disease or injury, but it is covering sore throats and a strange rash on the arm, and literally 92 to 95% of all complaints can be covered, accessed through telemedicine, and then followed up with discounts if there's medical imaging needed. Go to a top-rate facility and get an MRI or X-ray. If there's lab work done, go to Quest Labs, one of the largest in the country. And there's a lot of ways to access these plans. I would start, if you have advisors, an insurance broker, an accountant, a lawyer, advisors you work with, ask them. They may have plans they can offer you. There's also a whole bunch of consumer options that are popping up through Amazon. They have subsidiary focused on this. Walmart has launched a program on a pilot. There's numerous startups out there that are offering some variety of telemedicine. For specific DMPOs, you can actually contact your state insurance commission, and they can tell you which ones are licensed to operate in your state, what the conditions are, and who the contacts are. You can also just Google it and find out some of the discount medical plan organizations out there and build your own plan through them. There's a lot of them. There's a handful that are really reputable. I would stay away from anyone that doesn't have absolute highest ratings for integrity, because one of the challenges of this industry is that about 20 years ago, it kind of got off the rails with some bad actors offering plans that didn't follow through, and that got the federal government, the Federal Trade Commission involved, that got the state insurance commissioners, and now it's really highly regulated to make sure people deliver on what's promised and to make sure that there's no confusion with health insurance. And then one final way that you might be able to do this, or another way, is through a trade association. An example I'll use is the trade association some of you may already belong to, which is the National Restaurant Association. They have over 165,000 restaurants of all sizes that are members. And through the website, servesafebrands.com, they offer a discount medical plan that includes Teladoc, which is one of the largest providers of telemedicine, Quest Labs, discounts on pharmacy, all those kind of things. Basically taking leaders of each segment of healthcare providing and negotiating on behalf of members discounted rates at a fixed fee. And now their plan is, if you're in that industry, if you happen to have a restaurant, that might be a place to look. However, we have also made an option at HealthStep to make it very easy, and that is how we combined and created the Benefits for Brewers campaign.
And we actually just got a question with really great timing, because you've told us a couple of different ways about this, Jonathan, but that's too many options. What if there was a way to make it a little bit easier, right? But I'm going to read this question that we got from Adam. Or a statement, I guess. Just because a company offers health insurance doesn't mean it's actually going to be of help to a lot of people due to insane deductibles and limitations. So with that in mind, and kind of to round out this conversation, Jonathan, what do we do?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, Adam, that point is spot on. And I think we've all experienced that. And what we have put together with the Benefits for Brewers campaign with HealthStep is a set of benefits that are all 100% employer paid at incredibly economical prices that give the employees. So there's two primary plans, and you can see here under the basic plan, the staff, and I don't just mean employees. This is available to anyone that is named as staff. You don't provide a social security number. You simply have to provide, or they have to provide their address to make sure the plan is available in the state where they live. But it's Teladoc with no fee. And sort of for perspective, if you go to Teladoc's site and just look on there and get a consultation, you're going to have a fee of between $89 and $159 for the first call, and quite a bit more for the second call. Also includes some mental health counseling services, discounts on dental, discounts on vision, discounts on medication, a 24/7 text-based health and wellness answer service, lab testing, diagnostic testing, all that. And if you have 10 or less people to cover, then that's $300 a month for them and their families living at home.
Yeah, and there's no extra cost for their families, right? It's just included.
There is not. That's for your staff and for their children. They're in children living at home. They can be included under that plan. Each get their own digital card that lets them have access to these benefits. And in the Plus plan, there are a couple features that I think will be of real interest to brewery staff. One that stands out is pet telehealth. I've seen statistics that more than 60% of brewery staff have a dog or a cat. And when a dog or cat gets sick, often staff who will put their own medical needs aside will not do that for their pet. And they end up going out of pocket for, often they get off work late at night and they can only see an emergency vet. Suddenly you're looking at a $250 vet charge just to be seen. And there's no guarantee that's going to lead you down an answer. And this is a big concern to staff. Well, with the pet telehealth included at no charge, they can get home, start a video call and show a veterinarian exactly what their pet is going through and get some real-time feedback on how to respond to it. And then there's also some additional benefits, I think for if you have part-time workers that are more senior, sometimes durable medical equipment is very desirable. Diabetic supplies are catastrophically expensive for people that do not have health insurance. Getting discounts on that can be a huge boon for them. So all of this.
Well, and Jonathan, when we were looking through this, I was looking through the discounts because I was like, okay, well, a discount can be anything, right? I was surprised to see that a lot of these discounts can be up to 80%.
That's right. They can be a lifesaver if you have a medication that you take routinely. Getting up to 80% off can be a huge difference. And the same is true if you need glasses or hearing aids. These costs can really knock out a budget for somebody who is living month to month or paycheck to paycheck. So you're right, Greg. This is a huge advantage for folks that are in that position. And one of the advantages of offering it through the program is that the staff understands it came from the brewery. Mm-hmm. If you say, hey, you can join a program at Amazon or Walmart, well, that's fine, but that's not tied to you providing it to them. The other part of that is it's really hard to quantify what the value of this is for them, but it's fair to say it is a huge multiple of what the cost is for the brewery. So if buying into this program, if you take $300 a month and divide that between the total hours your staff work, you might see that you're adding a quarter an hour to your costs, but that they're valuing that as several dollars an hour. And I think that's really helpful for everybody to understand that you as an employer are making a commitment in your staff. You're making an investment in your staff and in something that many of them have already said, as we saw in the surveys, that they value.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
I'm looking at these prices, and you're looking at like $30 a month in some cases or less for covering, 10 employees for covering an employee. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, $30 a month per employee is what that would average out to.
Per employee. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think what's great about this is that we've identified a couple of different pain points, but also potential resources and the importance of getting to know what's important to your staff. But it's good to know that things like this are out there. And, if you're a brewery that can afford full health insurance for your staff, we love that for you. We want that for you and for your staff. But this was meant to be a conversation about ways that you can increase profits with some non-traditional strategies. So we did leave some time for some questions or any other thoughts if Jonathan or Greg, if you have them. We also have up ways to get in contact with us. So we've got email addresses up here. If you scan the QR code, we are currently offering an incentive exclusively for the Craft Beer Professionals group. We're so excited to be members of this, and we're so excited to have you here with us today. So as a thank you for your time, if you scan that QR code, you will be able to get 10% off for a limited time. But with a few minutes to spare, are there any questions we can answer? Or Jonathan, are there any thoughts that we can share that we haven't come up with yet?
Well, I'd urge folks to think about, the dynamics that Greg outlined and what you've just seen, and talk to your own staff, find out what's important to them. I have talked to staff in far more breweries than I should admit, because I'm not part of the secret hopper program, but I act like I am. And I've heard these themes again and again, really all over the country, that a lot of times people love working in a brewery and are looking for ways to stretch their time there. And if you can spend a few $100s a month and keep some of your best people for an extra year, that pays back for you so many times over. And it makes them feel appreciated, even more appreciated, when very often working in a brewery, they feel like family. This, it's a way to show your family you care about them.
Yeah, because it is a pain, more than anything for me. It's a pain in the butt to replace people. Turnover is it's expensive. I mean, but in my leadership positions, if there was ever turnover, it was such a chore to find somebody to get them trained, and it took away productivity. So it took away my time, and it just cost a lot, and not just money.
I also just realized I didn't actually fully address Adam's question, and I wanted to make the point that with these programs, there are no deductibles or co-payments or whatever. For telemedicine, for pet telemedicine, it's 100% free. It's to the employee. There's no additional charge to the employee to use the service. For the discounts, they know in advance what the discount is, and they know what they're going to pay, so they can make an informed decision about whether to pay for it. But there is no waiting for the bill. There's no surprises, et cetera, because it's not insurance. And again, that will cover most of the reasons people miss a day, and get you on your way to a program. And presumably, this is a step towards a better program. We're always looking for a way to have a better program, and I hope over time there'll be more and better options for breweries. But this is a great place to start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Well,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't see any more comments in the.
Yeah, I don't see any other more comments. So thank you again, everyone, for your time today. Again, we've got ways to contact us up on the board. This has been Benefits for Breweries, Delighting Staff and Increasing Profits with Non-Traditional Strategies. We would love to connect with you all through Craft Beer Professionals on Facebook. You can also find us all on LinkedIn. But we're looking forward to seeing you all at the next in-person engagement and answering any questions that you may have.
All right, thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.